right? Speaking of a later topic, The Ring. Anyway, there is a Netflix fidelity ring where both users with a ring have to be within proximity of each other for Netflix to work.
Is that a real thing?
100%.
Oh my God, that is absolute horseshit.
That's awesome.
I love my wife to death, but no way in hell am I sucker enough to be like, I can't watch Netflix if you're not within 5 feet of me.
That's just going to be one hell of an
suck. I don't like that.
You wouldn't like it either, because I would be like at work or at the store or something like, God damn it, I can't watch ahead.
Yeah, no, I don't like that idea at all. Like, how would I watch the things I like?
I just can imagine the Alexa argument. Alexa, play the effing show. Alexa.
I just yell at Alexa to set timers mostly.
This is true.
So
lazy in my house.
right.
Alexa controls everything. So it's like, Alexa, move right. Alexa, move right. Alexa, we're trying to go 20 shows over, and we're yelling at Alexa to do it because we are too goddamn lazy to pick up a remote control.
Oh my God. No wonder you have to take long walks.
So I'm gonna peace out, dude. But I love you all and have fun.
Okay, bye.
Bye
Do what you're piecing out to go do, and I miss you and I love you.
She gone.
She gone.
All right,
As you
so.
guys all know, I've heard that before too.
Oh, that got dark for a second.
So let's talk about The Kingdom. I
So
know I know Tim loved it. Let's hear
I
what Juan
watched
has to say.
2 full seasons of this show.
Oh, good for you.
Even though my wife did not want to watch any of this, I watched it on my phone. I loved the show. I actually really I liked the show. I like the zombies that aren't really zombies. Because I thought that there was a whole new twist on the zombie genre. It ends up being an infection movie if you watch the second season instead of a zombie show. And those, in my mind, are 2 distinctly different genres. I don't believe that things like 28 Days Later are actually zombie movies. But that's just my personal opinion. But
what are the zombies from Night of the Living Dead? Because that's an infection caused by an asteroid.
I don't know what you just said. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to think of a single zombie movie that is not an infection movie.
Well, so again, here's and I've done a ton of reading on this, and just because I wanted to clear it in my mind. So generally, to be a zombie, you have to actually die first. So a lot of the zombie, not zombies in the kingdom don't die. They just get turned from the infection. And generally, again, there's a little blurring because they are blurred all the time. The zombie has to die and then reanimate. And if you watched a lot of the kingdom, a lot of the zombies didn't really die from being killed or they just got infected and then turned. Generally.
That is a very, very small distinction.
I agree.
Yeah. It seems like a really silly distinction to me, but
it's really not. I promise you. Look it up.
No.
I haven't watched.
You imagine that I would have to care about that distinction to look it up.
To everyone else on this show, they're fucking zombies.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the show too far in. But here's the question that's going to answer whether this is a distinction or not. Is it curable in the kingdom?
Yes.
Then there is a distinction. Okay, so I see where that is a distinction, because in most zombie movies, you're right. If you die first, you ain't coming back.
I think in 28 Days Later, they were trying to find a cure for it too, but I watched that movie so long ago, I can't even remember. I Am Legend, he found a cure for it. They weren't really zombies. That's
in the book, they're vampires. So.
Oh, yeah, see, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't think there were particularly zombies in the movie
Yeah,
either.
I think they're supposed to just be like monsters because they have.
Yeah.
Well, I guess in the Will Smith one, they don't have as much intelligence as they do in Last Man on Earth, but
not until towards the close to the very end.
yeah,
because there's like a leader in the Will Smith movie, like at the end that shows up for all the monsters.
But yes, in the second season there is a
No,
generic cure.
That was Independence Day, wasn't it? No.
What'd you say?
I said, wait, wasn't that Independence Day? Oh, wait, no, I get them mixed up. Go ahead.
Who's that?
Bing bong.
Bing bong.
That was somebody's doorbell.
Yeah, the stripper I ordered for you this time is there, Gabe.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious. My
It's
wife
the
would be upstairs trying to explain to Sophia what the fuck a half-naked man is doing in our living room. So
no, I'm sorry. I'm gonna finish my thought really quick.
Yeah.
So when I thought that they were zombies, I thought that this was a really unique change on the zombie genre, because at first you think that they're not able to go in the sunlight for some reason. You later learn that that's actually not the case. You learn that I think for me that was a really cool difference, because otherwise they're crazy who just want to eat people, and you know what I mean, they're very similar, but I thought, oh, that's a unique small little difference that I thought made it cool, you know, while in the middle of a fucking kingdom that's falling because of convoluted bloodlines and craziness.
I do love that this is like a Korean drama film or like show and like a zombie/infection show, like all wrapped into one. It's two so distinct genres that they've just gone, put it together, yay!
Holy, put it together.
And it turned out really good.
Batman just showed up.
What up, motherfucker? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you
I
buy
bought a
cheap
thing.
headphones?
They weren't that cheap. Like $60 for this shit.
Jesus.
I keep telling you, dude, just go get like
These were like $5.
Yeah, these were like maybe $6.
These were literally the only pair that Best Buy had available that still worked with Skype. Because they said they're like bought out.
Weird.
It was like
it's
this
because everybody's doing this shit.
They said it was
right.
They said it was like this or
Yeah.
a pair of like $190 ones, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Whoa. You're like, I had a very similar experience with this. I had a very similar experience with the stuff that you put down in your lawn to like cover like a landscaping place before you put down like rock or bark or whatever.
Yeah.
They only had 2 rolls of one kind left, and that 400 square foot roll was like $89. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'll come back when like the $6 one is here again.
Damn.
So, considering this is the only surviving medium for entertainment, yeah, you're right. Everybody's doing this. There's no movies being made right now. There's no TV shows being made. And Doyle is breaking into his bag of Wendy's to take a shit with us later. Good.
This is Chipotle. Thank you very much.
Sports is coming back.
What the hell is sneaking up behind you on the wall there, Doyle?
It's your background. He's talking about your background, fool.
Oh, it's the dark side.
Now, speaking of backgrounds, can we take a moment to appreciate, have you guys ever seen the documentary of the girl who had sex with all these different guys and had the condoms hanging below a picture on the wall behind her in the pictures?
No.
Are you talking about?
To me, that looks like Tim's murder death wall.
That's what I'm talking about. Tim, did you remove the condoms before the show?
Huh? Oh, the shit behind me on the wall, it's like little Christmas lights with like Polaroids.
Yeah,
stuck
that's
to 'em.
definitely prizes of the people he's murdered.
Why are the eyes all cut out?
They're not cut out. They're scratched out. God damn it.
Some of them are burned out. Okay.
So back to Kingdom, guys.
Kingdom. Oh, go ahead.
I have one major question.
Yeah.
The one thing that bothered the hell out of me about this show. Were there samurais in Korea?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the only samurais I saw on the show are when they were doing the flashback of how they defeated the Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The queen kind of dresses up like a samurai, but that's in the very last episode.
It's definitely like Korean, like garb and Korean like weaponry, and like I've watched a little too much like Korean soap opera because I don't know. One time randomly I watched like 10 hours of it on accident.
Accident.
But this looks like every Korean period show I've ever seen. Like, because the last one I watched that was really cool was, it was a ghost story. It was this lady ghost that was in love with this, like, guy that was one of, you know how they keep calling those guys, like, scholars? He was one of those, which effectively are, like, courtesans, like, more than they are scholars. They kind of just work in the court and with the king and stuff like that. I don't know.
First of all, Gabe, do you remember my theory on period pieces?
I don't. Oh, God.
Okay. Usually you have to have one to enjoy them.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So Tim and I basically are ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to plug it.
Wait, did you enjoy this?
I really enjoyed this.
Doyle, did you enjoy this?
We all
Did
have
you, John
vaginas.
Still, did you enjoy this?
I thought it was slow as hell.
But
Really?
But did you enjoy this?
Well, I mean, I did perk up when you said courtesans, but
Trying to pretend like you didn't like it.
yeah, I thought it was a decent show. I mean, it's not one that I would run to go watch, but whenever you guys recommend something, I usually do like it. So I don't think I've given it a fair shot yet because I'm only a few episodes into the first season. You know, since Doyle told me what we were going to be talking about. So I don't think I've given the show a fair shot just yet.
I personally think that the pacing dramatically picks up in the first season the more and more you watch it. I think the second season took a giant step backwards as far as pacing goes, and I thought that was a lot slower because it's a lot more to do with the kingdom itself and kind of what's going on in the drama world. And the third season looks like maybe it's going to pick back up and to do more with the dead people or the infected people, but we'll see.
You know, it really, like, to where I'm at in the show at this point, it really just feels kind of like a Walking Dead, but less, like, action-y on the front end. It's like if you started The Walking Dead at, like, season 3 or 4, where everything's kind of smoothed out, they've kind of figured out how to live, there's no, like, super crazy into the world shit like at where I'm at. It just kind of moves at like a normal pace that like those later seasons of The Walking Dead move at. I think it's pretty cool.
So the obvious joke there is it's the WOKING dead.
Wow.
That's pretty spectacular.
Huh. So,
Dave,
I like that
Doyle really loved
everybody's
that.
like nonplussed. Everybody's like, eesh. And Doyle's like, that was amazing.
That's the best. Doyle's like, that's my shit. I love that fucking joke.
Oh, the clap emoji.
So I will say, I see what he's talking about, though. Like, I do think it is a slower show. And there is probably about 3 hours of combined the prince just like looking off into the distance while being sad. Like
and the villain.
Yeah.
And the villain. You zoom up on the villain's face a lot.
But that is 100% Asian cinema right there. Shit like that.
Wait till you get to the end where they just straight like ripped off the Dark Knight. It's like, I am not the prince they need right now.
Okay. Well, you know those Asian copyright laws.
Yeah.
So
I was like a 75%. I didn't like love the show. I more than just thought it was okay. Like it's better than okay, but it's not like A+ or anything.
So one thing. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it came out in 2019. I wasn't sure because when you introduced it, Gabe, you had said original kind of in quotes. But the Wikipedia page, which could be wrong, says this was actually adapted from a webcomic series. The way you said it made me think that they came out with it and then Netflix kind of bought it. But the way I read this, it looks like it's new and specifically made for Netflix.
So a lot of the Netflix originals, like I like to kind of couch in that they're not necessarily like original to Netflix because they do buy a ton of foreign television,
Right.
overdub it, and then just call it a Netflix original. And I think this one is one of like the few that actually like was produced for Netflix.
Okay. That was my I wasn't sure. I didn't know. And I just when you said it, and then I read the Wikipedia page, it kind of struck me, and so I just wanted to. I didn't know if you'd seen the original or if you knew that it was not an original.
So I did know that it was a webcomic. I did not know for sure, but it did. I mean, I didn't know for sure if this was from Korea first,
right,
or if it was like actually made by Netflix.
I don't know either. So
I can look.
I will tell you this: 96% critic rating, 95% audience rating.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
Well-
really good.
that's good. That's huge.
I have something else that really bothered me. And I don't know if this is a Korean cinema thing.
Racist.
Well, when zombies happen, there's a lot of blood, right?
Tons.
When people are getting killed with swords, they just don't seem to bleed at all.
I noticed that too. I noticed that it was like a weird, less gory, like it's like a weird, less gory zombie show, and like all the like violence that's perpetuated on like not dead people doesn't seem as gross. I don't know. It's really weird.
And the show is weirdly selective about when they use gore, because there's fight scenes where like, so when the prince first starts fighting back and he's fighting the guard guy that was like antagonizing him in the first 2 episodes, like right as shit starts hitting the fan, like the prince like slices his throat open and there's fucking blood everywhere. But then there's like the next 10 minutes is just zombie massacre and there's like hardly any gore at all.
Yeah.
So it's really weird how it's like, all right, we're going to make this part really fucking gross.
I noticed it more because there's a lot of the army that wear white garb.
Yeah.
And so there are times when after killing 30 zombies, they don't really have blood on them. And then there are times where they're just soaked in blood.
Right.
And it's
Maybe
very
it's
evident.
Maybe it's just a budgetary thing.
Well,
Could be.
it's like there's a whole squadron of soldiers in the very first episode cut through a whole bunch of guys wearing nothing but, white. And like they're just falling down left and right, and then there's zero red. Absolutely none. So I'm like, apparently Koreans just don't bleed. It's pretty awesome.
They do wear lots of crazy hats.
Yeah, they do.
Crazy hats everywhere in that show.
A big hat or a tiny little hat attached to a big old giant hat.
So
It's
that's
like
one
if a hat was practical, like Koreans just didn't want nothing to do with it. They're like, I want it to barely sit on my head, yet be 8 feet long, or I want it to have wings at the back. I don't know why.
Like, it reminds me of how, like, old settler cartoon movies would be. Like, shit about Plymouth Rock and the first Thanksgiving. Like, super tall fucking hat. Just super
and like
ridiculous.
the weird neck ruffle thing, and
Yes. Or
yeah,
the hats with their super tall feathers.
Right.
yeah. The dude that's obsessed with food, his hat, the one that has the big long pheasant
Yes.
feathers in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
And
the
Maybe
purple
humans in
guard
general just
later.
sucked at hats for hundreds of years or something.
Yeah. The two
So the-
top buckles and the one that had the buckle on the hat for some damn reason.
So that you could tighten the belt that goes around your head so that you could put more pressure on your brain. So one of the things that I was kind of obsessed with as I was watching this show is all of the set dressing, like all of the ridiculous, like, and obviously they're not ridiculous to Korean people because that's part of their history, but like all of the costumes look crazy, the hats look crazy. They have, like, in the very first scene of the first episode, he's carrying this tray that's like, it's a tray with like cups on it, and it has these poles that go up to this hook that he's like holding up above his head because the weird tray thing is like 3 feet long. And all I can think is, where the fuck do you find that? Or did they have to fab one to like match something that is like really true to like Korean history? It just seems like a crazy amount of detail went into a show that's effectively political intrigue and zombies, you know?
I love that 3 Mexicans whose people made the sombrero are worried about hats.
Hey, the sombrero's practical, bro. Keeps the sun out your eyes.
It's not like Husky and I can talk. We have Elton John, so you know.
And you can tip the hat for nap time
Yeah.
over your face.
All John Still and I do is boil our food and live in sadness. Anyway. Kingdom's great.
Oh man. So the dubbing for me is distracting as fuck.
It is.
So
I
I
was
watched
thinking this while I was watching it. I was like, Juan probably hates this part of it.
it's hard because
Wait, no, Juan hates something?
I don't
Wait,
want
no, what show am I listening to? Juan hates something?
it's distracting. I don't hate it.
The dub or the subtitles?
The dub. I watched the dub version.
Okay, so did
So
I.
I can't watch subtitles because it takes me too away from what I'm watching, especially when I think I need to be watching shit. And so,
Mexican can't read.
yeah, for me, I'm torn because the dubbing is very distracting, but I don't think this works if you hire Korean people who speak English. I think it's more authentic that they don't speak English and that it is dubbed, because there were. It's not racist. I just
You're
think
saying
it
Koreans
works
can't
better.
speak English.
No, that's not what I said. I didn't say that.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what you said.
Yeah, like,
Video
I wouldn't-
and
you were
audio
like-
don't lie.
you were like, I wouldn't believe it if the Koreans could actually speak English.
No.
Juan just went
I
full
don't-
deal.
I don't think they speak English. They spoke English at that time in
Probably not.
Korea.
Probably not.
So what you're saying there, Juan, is that is the point where your suspension of disbelief would be broken.
It would be.
Never mind the zombies.
I believe in zombies.
So what would you?
I just found it distracting. The first line in Marianne, when I watched Marianne, it was the same thing. And I went to our chat group and I was like, "Fuck, is this whole thing dubbed?" Because it's distracting, but I don't know. It didn't detract me too much from it. It's just distracting.
So around the table, what would everybody rather watch? Subtitles or dub?
No, dub.
I'm lazy as fuck, dubs.
It really depends. If it's a movie and I'm just watching it, I prefer subtitles. But if it's like 2 seasons of a show that I gotta kill in like a week and it's in the background sometimes, it has to be dubbed, really.
I'm 100% in the same boat as Doyle. Like, if I can put my attention to it, then I want to watch it subtitled more. But if it's something that, like, for the show, I watched a bunch of Kingdom while I was doing chores today. So, like, it has to be dubbed because otherwise I have to pay so much attention to it that I can't do the other shit that I need to get done.
I agree. That's why I finally had to find somebody who would let me borrow their Netflix account because I was doing what you were doing. When Alicia wasn't here, I was doing other stuff, and I could not pay attention to the subtitles. I just couldn't do it, but I couldn't find it in any other way.
Right.
For me, it depends on what I'm watching. If I'm watching a movie and there is good dubbing, I'll allow the dubbing. Now, if we get to some cheesy anime, it just doesn't sound right in English. And in fact, the characters annoy the piss out of me if they're trying to do it in English versus Japanese. I love watching anime in Japanese or Korean, depending on where the anime is from, Attack on Titan. But the it just doesn't translate well into English because they try to phrase things and say things the same way that
To
they
match
do in
the lip
Japanese.
movement. Yeah.
And it
I
just
think
comes across as so cheesy.
I think I'm just a visual person. So I can't keep my eyes focused on the bottom of the screen and pay attention to what's going on above it. And I don't know. I think my brain just doesn't work like that well.
I'm the same way.
The other time dubbing is okay is if it's really, really bad dubbing, like on like an Asian
purpose?
action film. No, just like those old like Shaw Brothers movies where the dubbing is like completely out of sync with the lip movements.
Literally,
And like all of the
5
special
seconds,
effects
6
are like a
seconds
half
behind.
second behind. Like that I'm way okay with.
When
You
me
can tell the guy just spouted out like an entire paragraph, and it's all like,
No.
And he's just like, no, stop.
when me and Alicia watched Survivor, that would happen, but because there was something fucked up with the version we were watching, and Alicia had to keep her eyes down because she couldn't watch it. She'd just have to listen to it.
Right. So
Yeah, most of the subtitles I've been watching lately is when I'm trying to get something to play, and we won't mention. I know you guys don't like me mentioning certain things, but you know, one of those apps
Talk about
when you're
porn.
trying, apps where you're trying not to pay for certain things, and you're trying to watch a movie, and the movie comes up in a different language.
Got you.
I
Now I
think
know
the
what you're
sub-
talking about.
I think
And then
what
the
you mean is
subtitle-
when we obtain movies by illegal means, like
That is correct. Yes.
Which
And then
we
when you
Don't do at all on the show.
and 10, 20 quick. And then when you watch, the movie comes up in a different language, and you're like, well, I fought so hard to get here. Maybe I'll just watch the subtitles because I really want to watch this movie. And then the subtitles are in like Russian or something. You're like, damn it!
When that happens, I'm hoping the other language was Spanish, and I'm just like, fuck, okay, cool, I'm still good.
as long as one of them is Spanish or English, one is
Yeah,
okay.
I'm good.
Nope, it's usually Hindi.
It really is.
It is, yeah. Because you think China doesn't give a fuck about copyright laws. India really doesn't give a fuck about copyright laws.
I don't think India has copyright laws.
Yeah, I think
I-
you're
I-
probably right.
They're just
All
like,
right,
no,
so
we're going to
go-
take all that shit.
Going around, starting with Juan. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs middle. Where are we at?
I'm giving it a thumbs up. I probably enjoyed it maybe the most out of everybody except for Tim. I really liked it. I like anything new that's going to give me some kind of zombie or infection type of story. And wrapped into what I thought was actually a pretty decent Korean kind of soap opera-y drama, I liked it.
How about you, Doyle?
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting take on zombies, like how you have the full explanation. It's a biological thing. Agree. Again, I agree a little bit with the slowness. So I'm like at a B, like a 79% or like a C++. There was definitely full episodes that I thought are just completely cuttable. Like, again, there's just so much blank staring into nothingness, and like
I feel like at 6 episodes a season, you just make it into one season, and then cut what you can.
pretty much like that whole episode where like he's saving the people, like one of the episodes where he's saving the people, and literally half the episode is just him running behind a cart.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, this is a little slow.
Some scenes do take forever to get through. Like when they're just cleaning out all the bodies the first time they find them.
Yeah.
That whole scene's like 10 minutes long. We don't need all that.
I feel like they took a really good zombie movie and stretched it out into 6 episodes.
Well, 12 episodes.
Well, yeah, but only 6 of them were good.
You know what I didn't understand, Doyle? At the very, or Tim, I guess we all three of us have watched it. At the very, very end, you get, so it resolves itself with the king and the prince or whatever who's going to be the king. We jump 3 months for no reason.
Yeah.
They're just showing people getting burned, and then we jump 7 years. Like, there was no reason for a 3-month jump cut, in my opinion. I was like, well, that was fucking weird.
Yeah.
There was a
You know
lot
what
of
happened?
things I didn't understand. I really don't understand why he had to leave. Like, I don't get it. Where he's like, I can't be here. There can be only one prince who's not really the prince, but he's the prince now.
Yeah, and I don't get that either. He knew it was his friend's kid. Like, why not just raise it that way?
I think he was trying to honor his friend, but it just didn't make a lot of sense at all. And then the bad guy at the end, it's like, we clearly saw that bitch get killed by zombies. Like, she doesn't even have scars on her yet. Like, what the hell?
If you look at it from the perspective of he wanted to leave to try and hunt down the person responsible for the shit, then it makes a little bit more sense. But I agree with you. He didn't have to leave.
Nah, should have killed that baby.
Jesus All right, I'm not in the baby killing camp, but
hey, if you're gonna be the emperor and one little baby gets to die, kill that baby.
Sacrifices must be made.
All right, Tim, what do you think? Where are you at?
It was my pick. I love this show. My buddy Rich that I played D&D with, he actually recommended this to me, and it was awesome. And I felt like something that I could probably win over you guys with after several horrible picks.
Yeah.
So that maybe you wouldn't lose complete faith in me.
The only thing that this whole series of things we've watched convinced me of is that we're not very good at making horror movies or series. Like, it's just
fuck no. Foreign horror is significantly better than American horror.
Yeah,
because American horror is just about like
slashing.
It's never about like building atmosphere and actually scaring the shit out of somebody. Like,
except for a like 4-season show that I like binge watch the shit out of called Channel Zero that's on right now. That's dope as fuck.
That shit looks amazing. When you suggested it, like, I looked at the trailer for it. I am definitely watching that fucking show.
Yes. And we'll get there. I thought Ring was a pretty good adaptation of what the source material was, but you don't get that kind of horror very often. It's just not. It's like you said.
It takes them ripping someone else off. Like,
Ring is like a different class. Yeah.
I don't know. I could think of quite a few psychological horror movies, but most of them came from the 70s, 80s. I kind of agree that nowadays,
yes, modern American horror films. There's a ton of great horror movies from like the 50s, probably through like the mid 80s. But like once the slasher film like just completely took over, like a lot of movies are just cookie cutter, tits, blood, jump scare, tits, blood, black guy dies, jump scare.
No. You had that out of order. That should have been first.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
I'll tell you what,
that's every horror movie ever.
I might have the not popular opinion on this, but the TV I left on the other night by accident, and it was on a movie like Cinemax or something like that, and I woke up to some lady fucking screaming. And I was watching Texas Chainsaw, and I was watching it for a little bit, and I was like, "This is fucking awful." I didn't like it. I didn't. Just so much blood everywhere for no reason, and shit just didn't make sense. I did not like that series.
The new one's terrible, for sure.
Yeah.
The old one was just scary because it was shocking. Like, it wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't scary, and like that's really. Like those movies, like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, and like, you know, Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, and like just that churning out the same movie with a slightly different plot line. It just like it filled the market with so much like slasher and gore and just like you know, basically torture porn like movies that the ability to make like a well plotted horror film that was like psychological and intense, just it doesn't make enough money. Like, people aren't interested in, like, take The Witch. The Witch is a perfect example. Super fucking good movie, like completely unsettling, really creepy, super dark ending, really well made. The people that I saw it in the theater with couldn't talk about how much they hated it enough on the way out, because you just have to pay attention to it. And there's no big jump scares. There's no huge gore scenes. There's nothing super, super crazy. It's all about how freaky the whole situation is, and you building up in your mind the mythology that's happening in the movie. And fucking the average film goer doesn't like that. They want to see something just gory and creepy and give you a couple jump scares, game over, you know?
Because
So
the movie industry is playing to the base level of people. It's
Well,
not playing to the
they're
intellectuals.
playing to the people who want to pay money. I mean, that's really what
Yeah.
it boils. That's all that matters.
No,
Yeah.
he's right though.
Lowest
They play to the very, very bottom base because that's what attracts the most people.
Right.
Because
Right.
even though I'm going to complain about, X horror movie or this horror movie or that horror movie, I'm still probably going to end up going to see it just to try it out in case it's the next Hereditary.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I think
I'm gonna.
Poor John still can't get a word in edgewise, man.
no. I think it all just started going downhill with the success of the Saw torture porn. When Saw
I
did
like
so
that
well.
first one though.
Well,
The
right,
first one's
and
great.
so did
First
everybody.
one's
But
amazing.
Yeah,
But
the
then
first
they
one was
just-
really fucking good, and then they made 10 more
Right.
of them.
10 more, and then they just started going downhill, trying to find just what's going to shock the people next. Oh, human centipede. There we go.
Well,
Yeah.
and
It
like
might
Saw
be
is a
tricking me.
perfect-
And in between those, you had the Hostel movies.
Oh,
Like
those
Saw
are
is a perfect example because what makes the first Saw movie great? It's not the traps. It's not like the gore is a big part of it, but
It's
that's
the
not what makes that
fucking
movie
twist
great.
at the
It's the
end.
fucking twist at the end.
Oh
and
my
like
god.
the way the story completely wraps in on itself. Like that's what attracted people to Saw. And instead of making more movies like that, they're like, well, clearly they want to see people fall into pits of syringes.
So I will tell you, and they might be tricking me, but the Chris Rock version actually looks like a step back to what the first Saw was to me when it first came out. But that's just a trailer, so I haven't. I could be completely wrong, but it looked
Chris
like
Rock version?
yeah, it's coming out at some point. Who fucking knows now?
The Chris Rock made this movie?
The
Yes,
Chris Rock.
the Chris Rock.
What's up with black comedians making horror all of a sudden?
I don't
They're
know.
really good at it.
I know.
Yeah.
And
Jordan
they make it
Peele
so they
makes
die
fucking
last,
amazing
motherfucker.
goddamn movies.
Jordan
So-
Peele is good at it, we should say. We don't know if Chris Rock is yet, but
I would assume Chris Rock's probably halfway decent at it too.
So we're going on 40 minutes. We've given our piece. If I want to
Well,
leave on
let's-
something, but you can go off of this if you want. I just kind of want to tell us where we're at.
So
Joel-
let's wrap with this. The next two episodes are also going to be about horror. We're going to talk probably a lot about the difference between like American and foreign horror in the next episode, where we talk about Ring and Ringu. And then after that, we're going to talk about a show called Marianne that's also on Netflix, which is a French horror show that is fucking great. So stay tuned, come back, whatever it is. We're going to keep talking about horror for the next two episodes. So we're going to leave the conversation here. Be sure to join us by going to TOTLB.com. Of course, you can support the show by finding us at patreon.com/TOTLB. Or you can give us a call, leave us a message, let us know what you think. 970-573-6148. That's right.
Yeah!
Holy shit,
Damn.
that was right.
And he did
and-
it quick too.
I know. Also, you can go to our YouTube page, YouTube or tinyurl.com/TOTLB2. Please
see
subscribe,
this up
like,
there.
share. You'll see a bunch of this stuff. We love to share the show. Please share the show with your friends. We want to hear what they think too. We will talk to you in a couple days. Until next time, I've been Gabe.
I'm Tim.
I'm Doyle.
Juan.
And I'm John Still, and the scariest part of Marianne is she doesn't shave her pits.
Until next time, bye.
Bye, guys.